Take a roll call. Number one, let's see, we got Kent Baggart's here. Vince Frederick, here. Murray Smith.
Here.
Pete Perez. Here. Aaron Dave Marseille.
Aaron Dan Marseille here.
Dave Marseille. So comments from the floor. I think these are all non-commenters. No comments? Maybe right now. Consider and act on requests for adjustments or relief. No adjustments?
No relief.
Okay, we'll get to the consent agenda. Has everybody reviewed the consent agenda?
Yeah.
Anybody
I
have?
have a couple of questions, just some simple questions on
Okay.
item number 6. And I'd like to refer you to page 15.
Okay.
And Maureen is here. So I think she will be able to help clarify that for me. My question is about the interest rates. And I have a big circle around Chase CD. What is the advantage to sticking with Chase since they've dropped down so low?
The Chase CD rates and the Veritex CD rates and the Fed on the graph, it's just for comparison. We don't have any funds in those three.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. You're showing us how well we're doing in the other funds.
That's
So
comparison.
that's not your operating account.
Fantastic.
There's no funds in those three. It's just
No
comparison
investment
for-
funds for CDs. That's great. Okay,
We have funds in Textbook, Texstar, and Texas Plus. And bank accounts.
fantastic. Thank you.
By statute, you're required to keep most of those in Techstar, and is that right? You're not required. I thought you had no. So you didn't,
CDs we have in the past.
okay.
They don't-
But I thought there was a statute, so you didn't go off and make a deal with the bank and they required you to.
Okay. Good question.
Okay, is there any other questions about the consent agenda?
Make a motion, we approve.
And second. Second, anybody?
Said second.
Ian, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, see go to the regular agenda number 10. See the regular monthly SGRA Woodlands Division report, including updates and on operations, projects and public outreach.
Chris had to step out, but as far as the operations report goes, the information in your package, if you have questions on the operations report, I can probably help out. One thing to point out in the operations report, you see under water loss, we're showing 5 million gallons for last month. That's primarily due to, we have 3 water wells that are being rehabbed, so they're in the flushing process now. So that's where the water is coming from.
Yeah, thanks for that notation. Saw it. I do have just a couple of questions. If you would turn to page 29. And
Page 3, question.
page 29. So month 36 is only mentioned on page 29 on AC waterline based assessment and also on the water plants. And there's a 36 and 47 on the water plants 1, 2, and 3. My question is, I know where the one on Slash Pine is in my district. But are we sharing that with 47? It said the budget is 138,000 and it's 160.7 has been invoiced. Are we sharing that with 47 or is that just our share?
So the cost, so let me kind of explain this. So where it says MUD 36 and 47, that's just where the physical site of the location is. That does not mean the cost is only between those 2 MUDs. So the cost is shared amongst all 11 MUDs within the Woodlands.
Is this our share or is this the cost for everybody?
Everybody, everybody's paid that much through the rates. And that's for every single project you see.
What, 5%, 36?
I think you're
Roughly.
about 5%. I think you are the second smallest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, really? The second smallest? I thought we were the smallest.
386 is less than 2%.
Okay. All right. And my question on page 35, please. Those are the pie charts. regarding the groundwater reduction plan. Maybe I got a bad copy or something, but a couple of these charts don't seem to line up with the colors that I see. So the February 2025, which is the pie chart at the top of 35. I don't, can you just remind me, who are the 48%, or is it listed on a different page? Who make up the 48%? And then the blue pie chart is not even on here. I don't know who is blue, and it makes up 22%. It's the dark blue. It says Quad Vest is the bright blue, but there's no dark blue on the legend.
So we had this early question earlier, so just to let you know, what we're gonna do next month is we're gonna remove the legend and actually just put next to it where it says 22%, we're gonna state the entity it is.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be great.
Because
That would be awesome.
the original one, all the colors match, everything is good. It's just through the copies and the prints,
I know.
everything, these colors change. So the 48% is all the participants that are not listed or named there,
Down here.
right? So there's 149 systems. The other, I can't do math all of a sudden. So the remaining ones are in the green, the 48%.
So
The 22% is the city of Conroe. And you can see that color right there versus the city of Conroe, that color there. They all,
No,
you know,
mine looks like it's pink. In
The
fact, I noticed, I thought, well, where's Comro on here?
wow.
So that's Comro.
Okay.
That's a great clarification. Thank you.
If you could, on the page opposite of that, page 34, could you help me understand those bar charts? Why we got blue, pink, and blue?
That's a copier issue.
Oh, okay, so it should all be blue?
yes.
Okay.
Oh, really?
On
Yeah,
that
I
sheet,
was, I
there's a
was
page,
wondering.
A page or two front, it shows up again. Right there.
Yeah, right there. Okay. Right in the middle.
Had our copier machine repair guy out to,
You know, I noticed that on that one, it didn't click. Okay.
Well, I thought the same thing
It was
too.
like-
I thought, what kind of, why are we breaking that up there? I don't get it, but super.
Okay.
Technical difficulties. Yeah, here are all the other pieces. I knew they were on a bigger page. See page.
You have any other questions?
No, sir, that's the end of my question.
Motion to approve the, do we have to move on that
I don't
one?
think we have to prove that. No.
the consent.
We already did the consent.
No, it was,
I was
item
looking at number
10 is
10.
just information.
Did you want anything, Mr. Meeks?
I'm sorry?
Did you want to add anything to the report?
I do have one thing since you asked. It only take about 30 minutes.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yes. No, I just want to introduce two people here. Actually, I'm gonna let them introduce them and then I'll explain why they're here. We'll start with Sonia.
Good evening, directors. I am Malia Good. I am the new administration manager for the Utilities Enterprise Group. I just started about 2 months ago, and it's a pleasure meeting y'all.
And who did you replace?
Renee Johnson. She did not
Renee.
attend any of the MUD meetings for the 2 years.
So you're based over here in the Woodlands?
Actually go between both branches because the utility enterprise is over GRP and Woodlands. So we manage both.
And what is your name again?
Malia Good.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure to meet you.
And I'm Jacob Everett. I'm the Utility Enterprise Maintenance Manager. I've been here for about 15 and a half years.
And so I've asked them to come because, one, they're going to serve as my backup in case I can't make it. You'll see some of them. As y'all know, Jason and Aaron have done that for years. So just kind of getting reacquainted with everything. Also, there's a lot of times I'll take stuff back and say, we need to look at this in the budget or this for the project plan. And it's kind of what y'all are all saying. And I'm going through meeting back to them. So I want them to be able to come for the next few months and see what y'all say on the project plan, the budgets, and just how you do business. So they get a better understanding of our customers. Just in for a few months.
Thank you.
But that's all I have to add.
That wasn't 30 minutes.
Oh, that's coming.
Oh, that's coming.
Yeah, that's number 11.
Oh, no. I got nothing to say.
Any other questions? Okay, item 11, receive presentation of the SGRA Woodlands Division 10-year project plan.
Here's your 30 minutes.
here.
So what we're gonna do to respect everybody's time, at the trustees meeting, we gave a pretty in-depth review of the project plan, presentation that is. So we're gonna ask y'all to watch the trustees meeting, go through and actually see everything related to the project plan itself. But I do want to add one big caveat to this is, well, as you see on the screen here, the project plan has not really changed in the current project plan to the FY 26 one, which is what we're talking about now. And the reason is some of the main costs and the main drivers for that project plan are the AC water lines as well as the new wastewater plan. As you know, those two studies are underway. We don't have path forward yet, therefore we did not change the project plan. So when you go through the project plan, you see the number still being around 700 million. That's because we did not have the path forward. We don't know which way we're going to go, so we have not changed the plan. Once we get the studies back and we get a good path forward, then we can go back in and change the plan based off of whatever direction we're getting.
I did notice that there were 2 voluntary land acquisitions, that east
Correct.
parcel and that sequestered property in the upper corner. And it did apparently pass the vote of the trustees. What was the importance of moving forward on those? Is that the 150-foot buffer that we have to have no matter what?
One of the tracks is part of that, yes. The other tracks up on the north end is kind of helps create the buffer between the plant and Lakeside Cove. Because we've got odor complaints up there.
Yes, we have.
This would prevent development from occurring in that 500-foot wide strip. Also, regardless of which project we do on the sewer plant, we're probably going to have to do stormwater detention basin, and we would put it up there in amongst the
Yes, we did
trees.
talk about that.
So, and
Mr.
plus,
President, did you have any
plus the
comments
2
about that?
properties, they've been wanting to be purchased since the beginning.
Is that effluent water detention?
No, this would
Oh,
be
it's
rainwater.
Who's been wanting to purchase it? Or the people want to sell it?
The two track owners want to sell.
Do you have any thoughts from the trustee meeting?
My thoughts are that no matter what happens, now or in the future, eventually, those properties are gonna be needed.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be, my opinion, it won't be for 25 years. That's my opinion. But I think that you're better off if they're coming to you than you're going to them to make a deal. So that the way I feel about it is from a business standpoint, anytime somebody knocks on your door that's back there, you ought to say, well, come in and we'll talk.
You're in charge.
Yeah. And that way, you don't have to go through eminent domain and all that kind of.
We're trying to avoid that as much as possible.
So I think it's a good idea. I don't think we're gonna need it
Immediately.
immediately, but
It's not- we
eventually,
don't have the 100
eventually, we're gonna need it. So I think that's a good policy to go ahead and for them to
Acquire it, yeah, sure.
acquire it as somebody knocks on their door. You're
Right
3/4.
now, today, you're gonna be a
You're
lot less than in the future.
3/4 of the way to a deal if they want to talk to
Sounds
you.
good.
Okay.
Anyway,
Thank you.
I think it's a good idea.
Yes, ma'am. Happy to help.
Okay.
Has anybody else got any questions? No, we don't want to hear about every bill and.
I'll be referring to the trustees video. I only do that once a month. You'll have to answer questions if you have them.
We don't want to hear about House Bill 9942.
Is that the one
I'm happy not to share.
you testified in?
Yeah, well, that one's just still showing not to
Not on
have
calendars.
gotten out of the committee.
Not on calendars yet. Well, they're not doing much, are they?
Fighting
Right.
over the school
Yeah, fighting
education
over.
account
Yeah.
right now.
It's ridiculous. I'm
Have
pretty
to answer other questions if you have them. I know we've got one other item on.
Yeah, we got another, we'll get to when we get to the land use.
The only thing I want to touch on that is that one we want to cover in closed session.
Okay. That'd be good. But, so we can close, we're gonna cover that initially in closed session.
Okay.
Okay, the attorney's pooped out tonight.
Why don't I?
And you don't need my time till later.
Ten
He's back on vacation.
of these, my sympathies for both of you are with you. Okay, receive the general manager's report. Eric.
Right, thank you. Good evening. Just a couple updates. We are continuing to do the ditch evaluations and have identified some areas that need to be addressed in multiple muds. We've met with Kent to take a look at a couple target areas to work on within the budget that you have at the moment. So, or that we put in last year. So we're working on that, working towards getting that moved here in the next few weeks. Reminder that the next All Muds meeting is May 8th. And then there's also a special trustee meeting on April 22nd, next Tuesday. That'll be here to talk more about the Corolla analysis. Wanted to report that the new billing software is live and the bill you received is from that new billing software. So hopefully you didn't see too much change, but they're working through some bugs and things as is normal, but things are going fairly well. Wanted to report, as I committed previously, that I would consolidate all of the comparison worksheet for the matrix spreadsheets. And so if you got a copy of that, I've consolidated all 10 of the muds into one sheet so you can kind of see side by side where all the muds chose their comparison worksheet stuff selections. So you can see that there.
I appreciate your efforts, too. I really do.
Absolutely. And then the last item I had before communications, a little jump left, but was to just update you on the GRP, as I mentioned, that I would be updating the trustees. In your trustee summary in your packet, there's a summary of what I reported to the trustees related to the GRP committee meetings. Next GRP committee meeting is coming Monday. A couple highlights were the committee approved the demand for 2026, 13.2 MGD.
I saw that.
And then there was a long discussion about the aquifers as it relates to, and Lone Star was at the meeting to discuss some of this, and their admitted prescribed decline of the aquifers. That was discussed at length during the meeting. And then also at the trustee meeting, I wanted to make sure that as I present our goals and objectives for the GRP, that they aligned with the trustees. And so those were greater efficiency or utilization of the facility, of the plant itself, lower costs or rates if possible, and then a look at subsidence as it relates to general utilization. So the trustees, I think unanimously concurred with those goals. So I'll share those with the GRP committee on Monday.
Okay, I have some questions for you on page 51. Again, we're talking about a color issue here. This is the monthly consumption for our mud. And I see a pink, a yellow, and a gold down at the bottom for residential versus commercial. And I see none of those colors on the graph. So I wanted you to clarify for me, what is the residential?
That's aligned right with that pink strata that's on that other page you noted. It crosses right over.
Oh, so it should be blue.
Right over that.
It's blue.
The blue is your pink. Resident.
The blue line is residential.
That's a
Okay.
tall line.
Well, it was exciting to see how they really dropped their usage during the months that they get their sewer. I'm glad to see that.
Eric, the solid line, horizontal line.
Yeah.
That shows up orange, that's the average across the woodlands.
436. Just 436.
Oh, for 36, okay.
Yeah.
So just somewhere around 7.5, 8 million,
Yeah.
8,000 gallons a day. or month?
Water for the Woodlands is 10,000 for water, 6 for sewer. You're just under that.
What'd you say the sewer was?
6.
6. I appreciate that.
Sharon?
That was it, for him.
John's back.
Oh, John's up.
All right, right on.
Timing.
Perfect time.
Man.
Sorry. And they're cleaning up those arms.
That's
Good evening. Page 53. Got a communications report. Did bring forward, just some metrics on how your annual update landed. You can see there, percentage of folks that got your snail mail, your report via snail mail, and then the number that got it via email. You can see an open rate there, and then that equates to the total number of accounts that actually read the email. So pretty good on that front. Combined, you hit most of your folks, and then you saw a resulting 24% increase in your website traffic in the 4 weeks following that. And that cost you $600. And that's good ROI on that. Infrastructure renewal communications, the community working group, that is going well. The third meeting was held on Wednesday, the 2nd of April. Got a nice engaged group, a lot of good discussion going on between members, ideas and comments, questions coming from the community through the group. And then folks interested in taking that back out to the community. So that is the intention of the community working group, is to be that conduit, and we're really seeing that happen. We've got this 4th meeting scheduled for May 13th. It says 15th on the report. It's actually May 13th. That's going to happen at wastewater treatment facility number 1. They'll tour the facility and then meet afterwards. We're going to start bringing you water smart registration stats periodically. You can see that at top page 54 for your commercial and your residential, and see how you stack up to the other MUDs. A healthy number, certainly on the residential side, but room to grow there. So we'll continue to push that.
Everybody else is in the 70s practically, and we're down at 72. So, I mean, I'm sorry, 68.
68,
So
yeah.
we need to
You're right in range. But
put, do we have any kind of a, I know it's going out in the bill, but not everybody gets the bill, right? I mean, you want me to go door to door with some little flyers?
would you, please?
Yeah.
I'll give you the
We got 1,700 accounts. That's gonna be a lot of walking.
You don't have to come by my house, okay?
Yeah.
good.
Go to the new people.
Social media there on page 55. Just a reminder that, check in our social media platforms, even if you're not a big social media person, periodically see what we're posting. And while you're there, please follow us, like the posts, and then share some posts. That really helps us grow our reach. Our focus is on water quality right now, as we're in the second quarter of our strategic plan. That will continue through May. Then we'll switch to water conservation for the summer. So you can see that reflected in our marketing materials. We have a kids art contest running right now. It's just about to kick off, I guess. And that's going to end in the middle of May, running that through the schools. So to get some.
And their assignment is what?
To create a piece and submit it with the theme "Every Drop Counts."
Okay.
And it's 3rd, 4th, and 5th grades, and 6th, excuse me, or 3rd through 6th.
Every drop's a blessing.
That's right.
Every drop
Pressure.
counts. Yeah, sorry, I see that here.
Finally, your outreach calendar there, bottom 56. Eric presented to the North Houston Association, their water infrastructure committee. That was on April 10th. I was out at the Township Emergency Preparedness event last Saturday. I'll be out at Grogan's Mill Farmers Market this coming Saturday.
You actually there?
Yeah.
Oh.
In the flesh,
I can
please.
attest to it. I think.
You've hung out there before? Yeah. That's 9 to 1. 9 to 1 on that.
I don't know where this needs to be an agenda item, but this is Eric, but we got all the people here except the township. And as you know, apparently we have a $4.5 million landscape project at the bridge at Grogan's Mill and Lake Woodlands, $4.5 million. So I assume that all of that is going to be some kind of fancy irrigated landscaping.
I've seen it.
seen the plans.
I've seen the presentation.
Yeah, but anyway, this would be an ideal time. We've got another 2 acres in that park down at the dam at Lake Woodlands. And what I'd like to see is all of us get together and put in an irrigation system using Lake Woodlands water. And,
For
It's gonna-
this new landscape.
well,
right?
and you got 2 acres that it's always green and and to just give you, the Maureen worked up the data for me. The township spends $1 million a year on potable water irrigation, $1 million a year. So this would be an idea. It's a big area. You got a water source within 300 or 400 yards there at the Lake Woodlands Dam. And that we put in and it's not even a gray water system. Kim, of course, is South Montgomery County Mud had a gray water. This wouldn't be gray water. We'd be just taking lake water and irrigating rather than using potable water. So anyway, I just like to get, it takes a coordination. It's your water. It's
Actually, it's Ann Snyder's job to bring that forth.
well, you mean you're talking about irrigating with lake water? Well, good. But anyway, I just like to get maybe John, if you could get John to get the ball rolling, to get people to think about how to use, we find, as you're seeing up there and we're looking at declining aquifers, and then we've got an opportunity to not use either groundwater or surface water. So economically, it probably works. Instead of paying, they have to pay the commercial rate that they pay, Maureen, for all of their, and so anyway, that's what I
like it.
or we can put it on the agenda to discuss it. But anyway, if you don't, if
We'll
we
look at
could, well, if we could just get people to thinking about it, because there's obviously, I assume that whole $4.5 million is a lot of money for just landscaping that, and I assume that,
There's a piece of art going out there too.
oh, well,
Big piece of art.
we've,
And
we've,
stone, sods.
Yes, it's a lot of work.
but there's going to be obviously, I assume, some irrigated landscaping that, it's always been, but anyway, I just think it'd be a good time to start. There's an easy, close by water source, unlimited
We hear
supply.
you.
Thank you.
It's great idea.
Anyway,
Great idea.
it's just one of my picadillos to see us conserving, John working to get people to conserve water, and then we end up and spend $1 million making the grass grow.
Eric, you mentioned the new software system for the billing. I noticed that the previous use graph is no longer on the bill. Is that something that there was a reason for it disappearing? The software doesn't do it, or what?
Couple reasons. The new bill printer wasn't able to pull in 2 years of data because the graph was too.
Right, yeah, this year, last year.
Period. They had difficulties in programming it, and we started that graph way before we had a customer total.
Right.
So we just figured the value wasn't there anymore to have it on there.
If you click on the link on the bill, you can get to all of that from WaterSmart.
And more.
And more, yeah.
Yep.
It's one of the few things that I looked at on the bill other than the amount.
My amount was higher.
Couple calls
Higher.
I was $53 this month, so I'm not gonna spend too much.
No.
But we work hard to conserve our water during the winter time.
So do I. It's a good thing to have a lot of clothes. I don't have to wash.
Is this the time for agenda?
No.
items To the next meeting?
No, that's not till the very end. 19, we're at 14.
Okay.
So, any other questions? We don't have to act on the general renders, we don't think. So item 14, discuss WWA protocol for agenda setting and meeting packet creation.
Yeah, I've received a question just from a couple directors. I've put it on all the agendas for all the MUDs. Just to remind directors that, of what our protocol is for setting agenda items. We request that agenda items be sent to me. Of course, we do them here, but things come up during the month. If they do, get them to me by the close of business on the Wednesday before all the meetings, the week before. It's generally Thursday, the next day. We finalize the agendas. I work with Ren's office and staff to make sure we finalize all the items. And then that sets up us nicely to get all these packets built. Takes about a half a day to build all the packets for all the MUDs so that they're available on Friday. We ought to pick them up or at least have them to get ready for the meetings the next week. So just more of a reminder. Wasn't a specific request from y'all, but wanted everybody to have the same message.
And it's the Wednesday before the first mud group are organized. The Wednesday before that.
Wednesday before the MUD meeting week.
So a week before our
They
meeting.
get the packets out on Friday, so they need it by Wednesday,
Yeah.
2 days before Friday, the meeting.
Got it.
Okay, item 15, you say Brian, we're gonna talk about in special session.
Trustees report and go back to 15.
Okay, the trustees report. The trustees report, if you watch the meeting, the written report here does not mention the discussion about whether it precipitated a special trustees meeting next Tuesday. And I think myself and Brad Howe had some questions I had specifically about the data, the SFDU data that's been used.
Correct.
And so anyway, I attempted, and we discussed it briefly, and finally we decided that there should be a special trustees meeting before May 8th, because the May 8th meeting could be moot. We resolved that the SFDEQ data that's been used is, let's say it's technically challenged, to use a different word than I use at the meeting. So that will be part of it, is to, but Eric asked me to submit questions, or he asked everybody to submit questions. And so you guys will know, since I represent you, here are the questions that I sent by email to Eric. So you didn't get them either?
April the 11th at
Received it.
8:28.
Oh, you sent, because you sent me an acknowledgement, said
Oh,
thank.
was that yes? Yeah, you're
I
right.
sent them last Friday.
Yes, I got this.
Okay, because Ed said he didn't get his copy. So I want to make sure, since this is.
I was out of the office Friday, so I'm still playing catch up.
Hopefully I've represented you. Okay, there you go. So anyway, I submitted my questions as requested by Eric. And basically it involves the data that's been used, particularly SFDU and peak flow data. If you haven't seen the email yet, essentially what I asked for is the date of that chart that's got a 35 million in gallon a day peak. But where they want to see is a 10-year history.
When did we hit that? How often?
No, just annually starting in 2015, what the peak flow was and what date. Just one, I just need one graph. In other words, the less information, the easier it is to, so if you could just make a graph, which is in that email, of the last 10 years in the highest peak flow day and the day it was, and probably the event, as we know, 3 of them were Tax Day, Memorial Day, Harvey. And, but what bothered me is that data didn't have a date on it. And I want to see where that number came from, because it's critical.
Oh, absolutely.
That
Millions of dollars.
Yes. So anyway, that data is critical, and also the SFDU, I'll just flat tell you that it's not right. So I went through this 15 years ago with MUD 36, and they're using data. Basically what they're saying is, as we all have heard, that the Woodlands is essentially built out, and the data, SFDU data says is that in the wastewater treatment plant drainage area or floodplain, or the drainage area, that there's 50% more development yet to take place.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is part of the reason that we're having the April 22nd meeting next Tuesday. And the public is an open meeting, public's invited, and so anyway, that's my questions, and hopefully we'll be able to resolve that issue. So anyway, that's in the email.
I was actually surprised to see that the committee and the GRP division held the constant at 13.2 MGDs. I was surprised to see that. Just a comment.
So anyway, the next meeting is trustees meeting, and that is the result of my question, I think mostly Brad and Brad Houck and myself. And it doesn't question the design data. If you got garbage in, you got garbage out, is we've all heard that term.
Where's that April 22nd meeting?
It's here.
Here, it's a regular trustee meeting.
6 o'clock next Tuesday,
It's a special trustee meeting.
special trustee meeting.
It's here.
It's held similarly to a regular one.
Hopefully we'll have enough. Of course, you got TV and everything outside now, somebody, you end up. So anyway, that is going to take place, and hopefully, unfortunately, just my comment is that big venue we had up there, as you know, people tried to ask questions and nobody could hear, and you had to yell louder, and it wasn't the best situation.
We're addressing that.
Yeah.
We're addressing it.
But hopefully, this 22nd meeting, we will be able to make some progress. And as you can see, I made some suggestions in that email about putting together a task force to resolve this issue of SFDU fees. Anyway, that's all I've got on the trustees report, other than you can watch it on the video if anybody's interested. Okay.
Closed session.
Any other questions? We've got, Brian's going to make a half-hour presentation down that he was trying to avoid.
Talk as long as y'all need.
Okay.
So adjourn and close session.
Yeah, adjourn to closed session.
Well, I think someone should read item 15 for the video, please, what it is.
Well, right now we're going into closed session.
Can't even.
It was to discuss consultant district attorney pursuant to the 55107 of the Texas government code.
Wrong.